What's going on, everybody? We're live. This is I don't know the everyday. No, what is it? The Daily Show.
The Daily Show. I know Trey said he was interested in other names. I've been thinking of some, but I'll send him some pitches and then maybe something
Yeah,
sticks. I don't know. I feel like
I
he
don't know.
could.
I was listening. I was listening to the one they did the other day, and he was trying to come up with names. I thought of one. This might be before your time. I don't know if this was before you were at the site, but I thought a good one would be the Everyday All Day Show.
The every. I
Were
mean, I
you
would
around
think.
for that time period?
No, I don't think I was. I don't think I was.
Okay. Some of
Then
the old Vendetta heads might get that reference, but
every
I
day,
don't I
all
don't know.
day show.
That might have been before your time.
Yeah, probably. That's this first time I'm here. It's not bad. Some. I want something. I think it would be nice to have something with a little bit of a ring to it. But no, I mean, hey, any idea? It's not, I mean, it's probably sounds better than some of the other ones I would have came up with anyway. But
Like I said, you have to be a bit like to get the joke that's in the title. You have to have been around
you got to be an
Vendetta from
OG.
yeah,
You got to be an
Chick, Garrett, Prosser might. I don't like I told Trey this before. Like I have such a bad uh like memory when it comes to, like people on the site.
Yeah.
Like everybody just blurs together for me. I have a rule. I don't follow anybody until they do at least like a month in. And then
Yeah.
if you lasted a month, then you get to follow on social media.
Okay. Okay. I think I'm doing pretty good for myself. I've been here since May. It's gonna be a year being here since in May. So
Okay, yeah. I wanted to ask you about that too, because like I said, I was listening to the last one and your intern, uh Christian, I don't know his last name, Christian, he was on there and he was like, oh yeah, I've been working with Jiarmani. So I wanted to ask you, like, because I didn't know if you were the last intern class or the class before that. Like, I don't think anybody's ever talked about that before. What's it like going from being the intern and you were a draft pick to now
yeah.
being the mentor? Like, what's that like for you, man?
Yeah, you know what's funny? I didn't find out until I saw Trey tagged a bunch of us in Slack about like the intern draft and who's getting who, and I saw that my name was there. I'm like, wait, what the hell? I looked, so I was like, I mean, hey, I gotta mentor somebody. I took that as a challenge, but it was a welcoming challenge. I wasn't worried about it really. I thought it was actually fun anyway. I feel like I needed to kind of uh feel more assertive in my place here. But yeah, like I've talked to Christian a little bit. He seems like a really good kid, and it feels weird saying something like that because I think I think he's almost done with school. Like he's like in a semester ahead of me. Funny enough,
Right.
but but nah, yeah, he's a really good dude, man, and it looks like he got a good head on his shoulders. But yeah, I was a part of the class. Yeah, not the fall class, but pretty much the spring semester. So I was a part of that, and then pretty much going into the summer. And yeah, so it feels weird, just a quick turnaround, but I guess it's kind of like it forces you to grow up a little bit faster than what somebody would be used to anyway. So it's cool. I'm excited to be able to work with him, and he seems like he's a really good kid.
Yeah, see, that's cool. Like I try, like I've gotten an intern every single time, and I'm like, I don't really do anything. Like as a like if you have like my stance is like if you have questions, just ask and I'll answer them. But
Yeah,
I'm not really out there like, oh, like how's your day today? Like I can't follow up. I got a full-time
strictly
job.
business.
Yeah, I'm a manager at my job, so like I got like that going on, and that's full
Yeah,
time. And like on my I got my people at my full time job hit me up on my days off. So like I love Trey, but I like
yeah,
and I told Trey this. I was like, yo, I'll be the last person to get paid. Like you pay everybody else. Once you get big, then pay me.
yeah.
But
Then
until then, like I got a full time job I got to worry about before this because I'll be
yeah,
damned if
yeah.
my car gets repossessed.
Yeah, we don't want that for sure. Nah, but I mean, I forgot when I was drafted. I think it was funny enough. I think it was the eighth pick, and it was funny. Just
Weren't you
remember.
Trey? Trey drafted you, didn't he?
No, he wasn't. It was no, it wasn't Bagdonis. It was Cervantes. I think it
Oh,
was
okay,
Cervantes.
okay.
Yeah, Bagdonis said he wanted to pick me, but then he kind of he kind of gave away his strategy. So Cervantes went with
Yeah.
me. So
I knew it was somebody that was like high up on like the food chain. I was like, what? I thought it was Trey because
yeah,
I do remember your draft video. You had I remember I'm like, oh he's got Naruto in the background. That like he's got
like he's
Akatsuki
gonna do
going.
great things. Yeah.
Like he's
I need to add more stuff. I've been meaning to add more stuff to the setup just to kind of give it a different aesthetic because literally you got the background here and then it's just blank walls the rest of the way.
yeah.
So I've been trying to add some more stuff, but yeah, you got like it's cool enough as it is. Like the camera gets a lot, so it's cool. But I think it's gonna be time to start switching some things around. But no, but yeah, it's just funny enough looking back then, and yeah, I think it was like I was with Cervantes, and after I kind of got my feet settled, I haven't really there was like a time I feel like I'm kind of like doing my own thing for the most part while I'm here, but I think that's like the creative freedom Trey gives everybody. So I think that allows like for the most part it allows people to flourish a little bit while they're here to be able to like hone their craft and get better.
Yeah. And I mean I'll say it before and I'll say it again. Like I don't understand like how you like this is so hard to fuck up. Like I said, like if I did half the shit that I do with Vendetta, like at my full-time job, like I would be fired like after day 2. Like it'd be like, nah,
They'll
give
pack
us
you up.
send back because I work remotely, so it'd be like send the laptop back and just you good. Like just be over there. Like I don't get it. Like people like if you want to go on vacation, you could tell Trey, like, yo, I'm going on an 8-month vacation. I'll be back in 8 months. And he'd be like, okay, see you in 8 months. Like as long as you told him before you left, like, hey, I'm going on vacation for 8 months, he'd be like, all right, cool. He might even say, like, when you come back, do a post about it, wherever you went. Like that's literally all he would probably say.
Yeah.
Just do a post when you come back about like what it, like if you were like, I'm going to like fucking Cancun for 8 months. All right, yeah, do a post on Cancun when you come back in 8 months. That's all it would be. Like, I don't get how people find that so hard.
I feel it's just some people probably just don't want it enough, and it feels like a lot of people. It's kind of like going back to. It was funny. I was watching that same episode that Christian and Trey were doing with Griffin, and they were talking about the Josh Taylor quiz, and they were saying that it was like the question that just saying you're passionate about sports. Why is that a good or bad answer? And like while you're here, it's like a bunch of those questions still find their ways to kind of be like instilled into your brain. So like people can say a lot of things, but sometimes talk is cheap, and it's like how do you go about presenting yourself and how you go when it comes to adversity? Because there's times around here that it's very kind of unorthodox the way that people around here are so quick to call each other out, or at least people are used to that kind of just right away criticism. But I feel like that's just like the style it is around here, and I feel like some people aren't prepared for that. So that's probably why some people are so quick to leave because they feel uncomfortable in that environment.
Well, I mean, it's funny with like that passion, and again, me just being a bad mentor. I haven't even really like I looked at who's my intern? Isaiah. I looked at Isaiah's quiz, and like I looked at the I haven't really like graded it yet.
Yeah.
So I got to do that at least some point, and I'm off all week this week, so I might as well do it this week. But but no, it's like that answer. Oh, I'm passionate about sports. Like I would honestly like I would pay someone to just come in and be like, I don't give a fuck about sports. They'd probably get hired on the spot. Like it wouldn't even like have to go to like the second level. Be like, all right, you're in. Here's your Slack account.
Yeah, it's just like that scene from Ted when Ted was in the grocery store. He was in the interview. No, but I mean, hey man, it's like that's what I like about just working here is just the amount of it's so away from the norm that it's kind of it forces people to kind of be like, oh, these guys are different, and I just feel like the way like things are going around here, it takes some time to get used to, absolutely, but I feel like once you kind of get a better understanding, and Trey and everybody says this before you even start, that you should do your research on the company you're applying for, so you understand exactly what kind of people you're getting involved with.
Yeah, and it's funny that like again, like talking about like just the like no holds barred kind of like thing about it is like I've been in like 12 like Slack beefs. Like in like the, like I mean obviously like I've been here the longest, so I like that in itself is just gonna lend to me getting into more the confrontations than anybody else. But like so for example, like the one that I was in with Chick, where like we were just going back and forth doing blogs, like like I had every like, and I know like people like were like at a certain point, like it did get kind of corny. I had every single intention of just writing blogs every single day just to respond to Chick until like until he stopped. And I'll admit, like I'll say I lost that because I stopped responding, but I also I had laptop issues, so like I couldn't like log in to like do the blogs. So by the time my laptop got fixed, I was like, oh, it's too late. I can't do it. But like I said, like no other place are you going to be able to go and just be able to just like basically tell your coworkers like fuck you. Like I told you before, like my job, my day job, I'm a manager. Like I get so many fucking texts and like Microsoft Teams messages and emails that like I literally like 90 times a day I'm like, you're so fucking stupid, man. Like I was like I can't tell the people that like I gotta I gotta HR that shit up. Like, you
Yeah.
know, after reading your previous email, you know, it seems to be, you know, the understanding that you have you know, reasonable knowledge of what you're supposed to be doing, which is like code for like you fucking suck at your job. Like I can't say that. Like here, like if I wanted to, like I put it in a blog, like, dude, you're an idiot. You suck at your job. You don't know
Yeah.
anything about the NBA or NFL or whatever. And it's like okay. Like the hammer has been thrown, the gauntlet is out there, you know. You
Yeah.
can either rise to the challenge or you can not.
I would say I don't even know if I could say I was a part of. There was only one instance, and I know they alluded to it in the previous episode with Trey and Christian and Griff, and yeah, and then like I give props to Trey. I give him like I appreciate him because he put me over on that last episode, and I appreciate every word that he said. And again, it's like it was something like I came to terms with and understanding that because there was times that, and Trey's done this for everybody. He's called out numerous people even in my time here, and I'm pretty sure he's done it to damn near everyone. I believe he said that before, and it really gives you a different perspective and really makes you like he challenges you to challenge yourself to get better, and I appreciate that because you got to understand it's more or less tough love. It's just a passion that everybody has for just being here, and everybody wants to see. I want to see everybody here succeed, just like I want to see myself succeed too.
I'm not gonna lie. I do agree. Like some people, like you got to tell them like you're fucking up. But I will not lie. I think sometimes like I'll read what Trey puts in the Slack, and I'm like, I'll text him. I'm like, hey, you might want to be careful. You're gonna get like sued for like you know just being you know like what's it called like he did the one blog post where he called the guy in the blog post like an idiot. I don't know, I forget who he was talking about, and it's been more than one. But I was like, hey, you may want to I texted him. I was like, you may want to reword that because he could sue you for defamation of character if like he wanted to. And he's like, no, I'm good. I was like, okay, hey, it's your company.
Hey.
I'm just you know I'm living in it. It's your world. I'm just living in it. But
Yeah, he wants all the smoke. That's what makes him. He wants all the smoke. He got no problem dishing it out.
Yeah,
man.
I'm trying to send out a tweet real quick because it's live. I want to I'm trying to log into my Twitch account so I can copy the damn link, but I don't remember my Twitch password, and for some reason I got logged out.
Yeah, I just feel like Twitch is just weird like that, to be honest with you. But you said you wanted to talk about a little bit of football, right?
Yeah, a couple things. And I know you said you're not a big football guy, but so tell me what's your what is your like football base? Like, what are you going off of? Are you a New York guy?
No,
okay.
Boston. You know,
Boston. Okay.
yeah. When it comes to the NFL, anyway, like I mean, this is what I like a lot about just gaming. Just to kind of bring it over there, is that playing a lot of like sports games like Madden and stuff like that. I've said this before in one of my previous videos. It allows me to kind of get a better understanding of the game. So like I've been playing a lot of FIFA recently, and at first I didn't know anything about soccer and like how to play besides kick the ball and put it in the net. But I learned a lot about like at least a lot about like the game itself. Not really much of the players, even though I looked at Pele. Pele was probably one of my favorite players on there. For the kind of the same thing with Madden, I started learning about Lawrence Taylor. I learned about a little bit more like I realized my favorite player was Randy Moss. So I mean, But it still hasn't gotten there yet for me to be able to kind of like sit and like kind of follow the NFL today though.
I mean, we can talk about that because, like, I definitely agree. Like, obviously, like, there's things that you're not going to be able to learn through playing games, but
Yeah.
like, I don't know a thing about hockey. There used to be a hockey video game that I had on, like, back in the day. It was like 2004 because it was on the GameCube. I played that hockey game like it was my job, but like, I can't, like, I don't want to say I can't. I've never really been able to sit through like a hockey, like, actual, like, game.
Yeah.
But like I know what like offsides is sort of, and like icing in hockey because of that hockey game. So like I definitely like I think playing sports games, like I don't understand like how people like don't play sports games. Like I hate soccer. Like I for the life of me, I can't watch a soccer game. Like I could muddle through a hockey game. I can go, like, I wouldn't watch it on TV, but if I went to like a baseball stadium, I could sit through a baseball game like that. There is not a situation on the planet where I could sit through a soccer game. Like, it just couldn't happen.
I think the thing for me is the biggest thing is that you can sit through the entire game and then not see either team score, and it would just end in a draw. I'm not sure if they changed the rules on that recently, like when it comes to penalty kicks and stuff like, or just a shoot off. Um, if they did, then I guess it makes it worth it. But just a time knowing that your team, knowing that the game may just end in a scoreless draw, I think that's something that kind of shies away from me with it. But playing FIFA, I have a blast playing FIFA. But it's just the thing with a bunch of these sports games is that I feel that it's a lot of RNG elements into it from time to time, especially like when it comes to, like, I play a lot of MLB The Show, and I feel like it's like that online. I feel like they need to switch up the hitting engine a little
Oh,
bit.
that's the worst fucking one.
Yeah.
I stopped playing that game. It's so fucking annoying. Like I've been, first of all, I didn't, when I first started playing, like the most recent one, like 20, what was it, like the last one that came out was 2022, right?
Yeah.
Or 22, or I don't know what it's called, but like that's the last one I played. The one with Otani on the cover.
Yeah, that's 22.
I didn't change the difficulty. Like the default difficulty is the one that like it scales to how good you are.
Yeah.
So like it started off on like the low setting, and then like I was doing good on the low setting, so it kept putting it higher and higher. Like I eventually, like, it put me on the it was like the second highest difficulty level, but
Yeah.
it never reduced it. Like I was going, like, in my like fucking creative player, I was going like fucking, I was like 0 for like 80 at one point. Like I didn't get a single hit in
Some
like
Chris Davis
80
shit right
games. I was like, why are you not putting the fucking difficulty down? Why is it so far?
Man, I saw a lot of the inconsistencies online. I play a lot of Diamond Dynasty and just a lot of online modes. I know they haven't touched franchise in like ever, or at least touched upon it to actually make that mode worth anybody's time. But playing Diamond Dynasty, it's like just the hitting engine itself is that you can get a good swing in, or just endless good swings, and you can be line out, ground out. Like you couldn't get anywhere with that. But then you go up against your opponent, and then you throw him like the same pitches he's been throwing. He gets an early or just some terrible feedback, and it goes 450 over the fence. It's like you're rewarding players.
No, honestly, it's so ridiculous. Like there were times where I literally got a fucking perfect swing. Like, because you know how it flashes. It'll tell you, like, oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Directly to the fucking second baseman. I'm like,
double play, game over.
Are you kidding me? Like that's probably like the only game I've ever played in my entire life where it has zero reward for playing well. Like it's just like, oh, fuck you.
Yeah, it's like you. Oh no, you got. Oh, it was a perfect pitch you threw. Yeah, that's 500 feet over the fence. What the fuck you talking about? I hope that they at least touch upon some things to make MLB 23 a little bit more fun. My biggest thing is that I believe that they may not see any drastic changes to like the gameplay itself until maybe another year or two, when PS5 and the Xbox Series X, or just the next gen or current gen, whatever you want to use them as, are like, so they stop worrying about Xbox One and PS4 and just worry about making the game to be powered by the PS5 and just like newer consoles anyway. I feel like that's what a lot of games are kind of hanging on to, at least when it comes to the sports games, because you see these games still releasing PS4 and Xbox One copies of the game too.
Yeah, I don't know. I doubt that because like the the PS5, Xbox, what is it? Xbox Series X and S, they
Yeah.
just came out. Like, I doubt it because like that's something like the game they could easily change. It's just like EA probably won't because they have their formula and it makes some money.
Yeah.
Or the show's not EA, is it? I don't think.
No, that's San Diego Studios.
Yeah, okay.
So
But
it's
like the
owned
other
by
ones, like
PlayStation.
Madden, 2K for obviously 2K, like though, like they're not going to change because they're already making money. Like they're not going to have to.
Yeah, I feel like it's just like a lack of competition on that side because when you think of like the best basketball game, it's 2K because EA hasn't dropped an NBA Live game in like four years now, something like that. And then Madden, I think Madden EA has like an exclusive rights deal with the NFL or something like that, right? Like when
Yeah,
it
they
comes to
still have it. Yeah,
distributing the game. Yeah, so then that's something. It's like that's the only good
yeah. They
football.
got their ass kicked by 2K5, and they were like, no, that's not fucking
We're
ever
not
happening.
doing that again.
Oh, real quick, what's your Twitter so I could tag you in this tweet for the?
Yeah, I believe it's J Depena 21.
Oh, does our Twitter not follow you?
I think it should anyway. I'm not sure.
I guess not because you're not like I'm trying to do the and it's not coming up.
Let's see. I wonder if I did change
Oh,
my
did I
name.
just spelled Depena wrong? Okay, yeah, I just spelled Depena wrong.
I don't blame you. It's fine.
No, it's Depena, right?
Depena.
Okay, I still spelling wrong. There. Oh, there you go. Okay. I was gonna say like that's kind of fucked up. They're not following you.
It's like,
Like,
damn,
is that
man.
a sign, Trey? Do we not? This what's going
Are
on?
we disowning this kid?
You're gonna try to like it's like that fucking video, like the guy from Hard Knocks trying to get into like Jets training camp and his badge isn't working. Like you're gonna try to log into the
Oh
side
yeah.
like
Oh my
no, you're
god.
not in.
It's like, no, he thinks he's on the team. No, but speaking of NFL, who was that? You said that guy on the was it the 49ers or he was I
No,
know
it
there
was
was
the Bengals. So there's the Bengals. So
Bengals
that's
shit
one of the things I
talking.
wanted to ask you about. Is I don't know, did you see any of the tweets from Eli Apple?
I did not know.
All right, so basically, obviously last week the divisional round, the Bengals played the Bucks, or not the Bucks. The Bengals played the Bills, and the Bengals handled the Bills. Like they beat the brakes off of them. So one of their cornerbacks, this guy named Eli Apple, he's a kid from New Jersey. I didn't play against him specifically, but the team, his high school team, my team played against him when he was like a freshman. He's from Eastern High School in New Jersey. They he's been going like all day yesterday. He was going off on like the Bills, like talking all kinds of shit. I'll pull up. Let me pull up some of his tweets here. So I figured I wanted to ask you, because Eli Apple, he's not a very good football player. Like he gets cooked all the time. I wanted to ask you, like, who would you say, like in Vendetta, who is that? Like
Oh
they
my
talk
god.
a lot of shit. They're really actually pretty good at talking shit, but they have like zero, like I don't know, you could zero blogging or whatever skills.
Jesus. You putting me in the hot seat. My god.
Because like I mean when I was thinking about it, I wanted to be like, oh, that would be Chick, but I was like, no, Chick is actually kind of good at blogging. Like,
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, like I can't really think of anybody off the top of my head. And I mean, barring any future controversy, at least at the moment, I'm gonna kind of like retract myself from answering that question. But no, but I mean, like for the most part, at least like from what I've seen, I can't really think of anybody that comes to mind. I'm sure there's people in the company for sure. I could probably I mean, I would probably say myself, but I don't think I do enough shit talking to kind of like qualify to be a candidate for that. But it's kind of hard for me to like put it in onto any one given person because again, I'm not entirely sure, and I feel like it would kind of be unfair of me, especially if I don't know. I still am yet to meet like I feel like half the people who are a part of Vendetta, and I've been here half a year, so I feel like it's probably not my place to say anything like that again. But even then, even if it was, there's really nobody that comes to mind at the moment. But I'm sure there's probably people who are.
Okay, yeah, because he's basically been telling like all the Bills players, he's like, oh, you're gonna go to Cabo, go to Cancun.
Oh,
Like
okay.
one of the ones that he got like I guess people are like on him about is like Damar Hamlin, the Bill safety who had the cardiac arrest a couple weeks
Yeah.
ago. Like his number 3, like, and that's been like the big like do it for 3 and that kind of thing. So he one of the tweets he put out was Cancun on 3. So like people are like, oh, he's making fun of Damar Hamlin, and then like one of the Bills players was like, don't talk about like that'll get you beat up, that kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, like he says that like he wasn't trying to make light of the Damar Hamlin situation, but like honestly, like, and I gotta give him props. Like even if he was, like, it's fucked up, but like that's kind of like that's a top tier troll level. Like
Yeah, I mean that's one way to get a fan base to hate you. So
yeah, he
it's
was
like
in the one too. Like even one of the like ESPN analysts was like, if Damar Hamlin played like he tweets, he'd be in the Hall of Fame.
What you mean, Eli? Because you said
Yeah,
Damar.
Eli Apple. My bad.
Okay, all right.
Eli.
Okay.
He's like, if Eli Apple played like he tweets, he'd be in the Hall of Fame.
I mean, I guess somebody I can relate it to, at least that I've seen, is like Pat Bev. At least like how he trolled Damian Lillard, and
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, just hearing that. So the conference championships are this weekend, right?
Yeah.
So, all right. So I mean, and my thing is that and you said this guy isn't. I mean, I feel like it's kind of just goes back to that Drake verse. Bench players talking like starters. I hate it. I always. It's funny how like that. Like a lot of these guys are.
To be fair, he is a starter. He's just not a very good one.
Yeah. So I give a lot of these guys credit. Like you got the guts to go and talk all your shit, but then if you're not performing, or it's kind of like somebody like say like Pat Bev was talking all this nonsense on somebody like a Kevin Durant, because I know he had a beef with him, and then like KD next time he sees him gives him like 55. It's like your words don't mean shit if you just gotta like you just talking just to talk. But I mean, like again, I feel like what makes great players great is or great trash talkers anyway, they can trash talk the shit out of you and then they can back it up no problem and you can't do anything about it. Like Larry Bird, like Michael Jordan, like even a couple of these guys in the league still, like even Kevin Durant, I feel like he's an underrated trash talker in a sense anyway.
Well, I mean, speaking of like even like Pat Bev, like with his trash talk, like it's always funny when you see those guys that do a lot of trash talk, they end up on the same team with the guy they've been trash talking, like with Pat Bev and fucking Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
Same team.
I don't know how long this is gonna last though.
I think it's always hilarious because like, don't you guys fucking hate each other? Like, how does that?
Yeah.
Work? Like, who thought that one was gonna be a good idea?
I think it's funny because I feel like for people who go out and maybe play with their buddies or play with just like they go like do pickup games with people in the neighborhood and stuff like that. I feel like it's just all in the spirit of competition. I know with Pat Bev and Westbrook, they have a history. Like Pat Bev, believe he was responsible for Westbrook getting a knee injury in one of the playoff games, like maybe while he was still on OKC. And these guys have kind of been at each other's throats ever since. I feel like at that point, it's like I feel you see kind of players as true colors, that they really true despise one another when they're on the same team. Like they try to make it work, and then it end up it doesn't. Yeah. But I feel so like it's kind of like the way I brought it up in like a pickup sense is that you may be playing basketball with your boys, and then like I've had a bunch of heated debates and heated like arguments with me and my friends when we've been playing pickup, and then after all, we understand it's just a part of the game. It's like no ill intent behind it. I can't really say the same thing for like Pat Bev and Russ because like he ended up like I get it. That's how Pat Bev tries to play. He tries to hustle and he wants to be known as one of the better defenders. But then like damn near going for a play and trying to like break a guy's leg in the process. Like it's kind of hard to kind of justify that a little bit. But I feel it's just like time heals all wounds in a sense. And it's like it's time to. I feel like they realize like we got to make this work if we want to for the betterment of the team anyway.
Yeah, I think because I know I asked you, I would say like if I had to give anybody the Eli Apple kind of grade, I don't know. Like I said, I don't feel like there's not anybody that trash talks that like isn't very good. Yeah. The only thing that I could probably say is I might be the Eli Apple of the group because like I do a little bit of I do my fair share. Like I told you, like I had my thing with Chick. I had a thing with Baker once when he was still at the site. Baker was that was definitely before your time. But I was like I don't really do much. Like I do like my podcast and that's about it.
Yeah.
So like that's like I'm like probably the only one that comes close, but I don't think I'm on Eli Apple's like troll level either.
Yeah.
Like,
It's kind of.
like
I mean,
I don't.
here's the thing: if the because you said he's on the Bengals, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, see, if the Bengals win it all, then he has all the ammo he needs if the Bengals go and win the Super Bowl.
I honestly I talked about this. The episode hasn't come out yet, but I talked about this on the lead word the other day. I would love because I think the Eagles are going to the Super Bowl. Like, I mean, obviously, I think the Eagles are going to the Super Bowl, but like, and it's not just me being like a homer or anything either. Like, I just genuinely think the Eagles are the best team in the NFC right now. But like, if the Bengals go to the Super Bowl, there's no way Eli Apple doesn't give up a minimum like 300 yards against. Like, I would love to see that.
Wait, so it's the Eagles versus the 49ers?
Yeah, Eagles 49ers, and then it's Bengals Chiefs.
Okay. And I understand Pat Mahomes is hurt, right?
Yeah, he's got like a high ankle sprain. So we'll see how that works out for him.
Okay.
I honestly like I don't think it's going to be too bad for him.
I feel like he's probably gonna try his hardest to get onto the field anyway. I mean, like knowing, like at least knowing what I know about football, at least knowing what I know about Pat Mahomes is that he wants to play his heart out, and he probably will leave it all out on the field. I feel like especially with a Super Bowl like opportunity back on the line, I feel like he's trying to build his case to start like trying to be looked at as like the best quarterback in the league right now. But something I am interested in because I've heard all this talk about the 49ers, so like I'll probably end up watching one of those games. I probably will pick the Eagles game to watch because just with like a lot of the talk that I'm hearing about like the rookie quarterback they have over there, and then believe was it Deebo Samuels is over there as well.
Yeah, Deebo Samuel.
Yeah. I feel like it's just like if I'm gonna pick one NFL game to watch, I usually just pick the one game and it's the Super Bowl. But if I'm gonna pick another game to watch, I'll probably end up watching that because I think that probably has the highest chance of being like a kind of like a slugfest, just back and forth.
I mean, I honestly don't really think so. Like, I don't think it's going to be like a blowout, but
yeah,
I feel like if unless things go like extremely wrong for the Eagles, I feel like they should win pretty handily just because one, Brock Purdy, he's like, again, he's a rookie. I don't think he's won. Like he's not like he's like all of like their winning streak is basically in home games. And he's got to go across the country. And I mean, you're from Boston. Like you've never been to like Lincoln Financial Field, but it is one of the most toxic environments like imaginable that you could play in. And I say that as one of the people that have taken pride in making it a toxic environment to play in.
Okay.
So I just don't see Brock Purdy like
he's gonna get rattled.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard for him.
I would say at least like watching the MLB playoffs and seeing the Phillies go all the way to the World Series and understanding how good of a team they were at home playing in the playoffs and just seeing all because they had like a bunch of their success while playing at Citizens Bank Field. And I feel like that's, I want to say it's an underrated aspect of like when it comes to playoff games. If anything, like just depending on where you're playing, because I feel like no fan base is ever considered equal. Like us up in the Northeast, I feel like, or at least on the East Coast, like those kinds of fan bases, like the Philadelphia area, Boston, New York, is a lot more intense than like places down south or even out west. At least in terms of like the passion that like any given fan base on like the Northeast side has for like their sports teams. Like you got like with the Eagles and like with the Red Sox, and like I know Patriots fans are like batshit crazy from time to time too. But like I think on a different level because they're a little bit more sophisticated because they won a bunch of Super Bowls in the last couple of years. So I would say like the Red Sox and stuff like that, just from what I'm familiar with, and definitely New York.
Yeah, I would just say, like I said, I don't. Brock Purdy's gonna have a tough time. I'm not gonna say the 49ers don't have a shot because obviously like they have a really good defense, but like if Dak Prescott doesn't turn the ball over twice in that game, and again, I know it was blocked, but if you again, they've talked about it like ad nauseum, like ever since it happened. But Brett Maher was gonna miss that extra point, even if it didn't get blocked. Like that's 7 points right there. Like you take away those 7 points, and the Cowboys are fucking tied with the 49ers. So like I don't like Jalen Hurts is not going to turn the ball over. So
Yeah.
I just like I said, I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but I could see a comfortable like 10, 14 point lead or 14 point win, 10 point, 14 point win for the Eagles.
Okay.
But and I do want to also ask you too. This is kind of like a football thing, but like you could still swing it back to baseball and basketball too if you want. So the Eagles coach Nick Sirianni, like he's a fucking cornball. Like he really is. Like don't get me wrong, I love Nick Sirianni. Like he's a cornball, but like it's one of those things where like he's a cornball, but he's our cornball. Like if that makes sense. Like he's been like people have been mad at him like this week because of like he's kind of like he's really goofy. Like he's a goofy dude. Like there was this one shot of him against the Giants during the divisional round where like the camera's right on him and like he's like this looking at the camera. He's like, yeah, like that. Gives one of those. And then there's like this other shot where like after they score a touchdown, like he's like pushing the assistant coaches, like kind of like hyping everybody up. So like a lot of people are like, oh, like your coach shouldn't be acting like that. It's like it's so cocky, blah 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 blah. I'm like, no, I want my coach to act like that. Like I want my coach to be fired up and like as opposed like, and I think it's like it's kind of weird because like in the NFL, like everybody wants like, oh, Bill Belichick, like no fun league. Like you can't like really be happy or anything like that. Like we see coaches like fucking freaking out when like a play doesn't go their way or something like that. And it's just like, oh, he's like passionate. But like when you're passionate about being like winning, like that's when you're like, oh, you can't be passionate about that. But like in basketball, we see it like after a big three, like coaches like dapping up their players and shit like that. And it's like, oh, that's acceptable. Like, but like, so like I don't get why that's not acceptable. Like in the NFL, like, oh, you can't be happy your coach, like your players are doing well.
Yeah, I feel the best way I can dial it back is like with MLB. I feel like there's like a division between fans or just like people in the sport being like, oh, like you can't watch a home run. You got to just hit it, put your head down and start running the bases. Or even in basketball too, you got like the thing is with basketball, I feel like there's a new generation of players that are coming in and there's kind of like the reinforce or like the evolution of basketball culture. Like people, if you hit a three, you want to celebrate, like you want to like go over the top. Like you've seen like even like John Morant, how the Grizzlies are right now. Like John Morant loves to be flashy, and these guys love to be. They love to kind of showboat. I feel for me, like if you accomplish something, you should reward yourself for it. You should be hyped up for it. Like if somebody gets like it's just like in baseball. If somebody gets a big strikeout, the pitcher's gonna lose his mind. Like Chris Sale in last year's postseason, he struck out Kyle Tucker, and like Chris Sale is always one to kind of be cool, calm, and collected. But this dude started hyping himself up, screaming into his glove, all that extra stuff. Why can't somebody who hits a home run off you like pimp it and flip the bat like Jose Bautista back in 2016 and start getting hyped because everybody's going crazy and all that stuff? I feel it's a two-way street in that aspect. If one side of people can celebrate their accomplishments, the other side should be able to. And I feel like baseball and football, like they need to kind of get out of that kind of like that old mindset, that outdated mindset of it's at the end of the day, you're playing a kid's game. So like people, like there's people who enjoy the sport, like they're still kids. Like you just gotta, I feel like that's just something like it's funny to say like grow up. It's kind of I'm trying to find the best words for it, but it's
like saying, hey, why don't you grow up and act mature, but you're playing football as your job. You're not working at a bank, right? I know what you're trying to say. Like it doesn't, like it's kind of hypocritical to be like that.
Exactly. It makes it more fun for the players first and foremost, but also it makes it more fun for us to be able to watch that. And like, it gives us a reason to kind of gravitate towards players and coaches and stuff like that. Like, I know if yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I absolutely hate that. Like those taunting penalties, like, oh, they're grown fucking men. Who gives a shit?
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I feel if there's a difference between like, trying to show somebody up and then just celebrating what you just did. Like if somebody like say like one of these receivers out here, they like you got Jalen Hurts, he throws a bomb to one of his receivers, and Odell, Randy Moss is that shit with one hand. You don't think he's gonna get up, drop the football, and like start strutting around a little bit if they scored a touchdown? Like, if you don't want those kinds of things to happen on the other side, you got to play better defense and not allow those things to happen. But also, if that happens, all right, that means you get it back right away, or like you try your best. Like I feel like it forces people to get better because obviously, like you kind of like hold on to that feeling. It's like losing a championship. Hold on to that feeling and play better either on the next play or do better on the next possession. I feel like you shouldn't be like, oh, you guys are doing well. You guys can't celebrate that. Like that's weird. Weird mindset to have.
Yeah, and two, like there's a little bit like, and I talked about like, oh, it's hypocritical to be like, oh, grow up, like act mature, but you're playing football as your day job, like, but it's also hypocritical too, like if, so like people will be like, oh, you can't celebrate, like you just shouldn't be celebrating, like it's not a good thing, it's not a good look, but at the same time, like I had a conversation with somebody once where it was like, it was after it was in the, I think it was the first Eagles Giants game. AJ Brown scored a touchdown and he took the ball and he threw it like at the Giants logo, like in the in the back of the end zone, like threw it against the wall. And this person was like, oh, like, oh, I like they're like basically said like, oh, I hope they injure him for that. Like, why is that okay? But like, oh, he celebrated. Like that's not okay. But like, you could wish that he gets hurt, and basically could possibly literally lose his source of income if he gets hurt severe enough. Like, why is that okay? But like, oh, celebrating was wrong.
Yeah, I feel like that's just unnecessary. I feel like certain like that kind of that's just like a dangerous way to think because like it's real easy to be looked at as a hypocrite because you can say that one like say somebody says that one like on the last day of the season, last game of the season, you're down, you lose a big game, but your team still makes it to the playoffs, and then like what that given team makes it all the way, they win the Super Bowl, and it's like the final possession of the game, they score a touchdown, and these guys start celebrating even more. You're probably just not even going to think about that last game, like that game at the end of the season, because your team just won the Super Bowl, and you're over here popping champagne and all that other stuff, kind of like showing everybody up, right? Like I feel like that's just like it's just such a weird and dangerous mindset to have, especially if you're wishing ill on somebody that you really don't even like. You don't even know about that. Like they don't even know you exist.
Yeah, I just, and I even wrote a blog about it once. Like it was a couple years ago, like during like the NCAA championships for wrestling. Like that's another one. Like wrestling is like people are always like, oh, you should act like you've been there before. Like why? Like that is so fucking stupid. Like what if I've never been there before? Like why am I allowed to, like if it's my first time, if I'm a fucking wrestling at 190 pounds or 97 pounds, it's my first time winning the national championship. Why do I have to act like I've been there before? If I do it 4 times in a row, you know how fucking hard that is? Why do I have to act like I've fucking done it before? Like, let me be fucking happy. Like, and first of all, too, like, let's not forget the fact that it's a highly fucking, not only just stressful situation to be in, but like you're surrounded by fucking people. Like it's a very high anxiety like situation to be in, especially speaking of wrestling or the NFL or the NBA, where you literally have thousands of people. And again, look at how stadiums are designed. Obviously, they're designed this way for a reason, because you want to make sure everybody can see the product that they paid for. But literally, it's eyes literally focused on one point, and you're that one point. But I'm supposed to just act like, oh, it's no big fucking deal that 50 fucking thousand people like in attendance plus a million people fucking nationwide just watched me torch a guy for 40 yards, and I'm just supposed to be like, yeah, no big deal.
Yeah, like they just want everybody just to act like Kawhi Leonard and just like Tim Duncan and stuff. Just like you guys are robots. You guys are just here just to play the sport and that's it. These guys are real people. Like I know damn well if I was in those situations, I would be celebrating every sort of accomplishment, especially for a lot of these guys. Like I can't speak for like any of them really, but just like those kinds of situations, your hard work is paying off, and like your years and years of hard work to get to the point that you're at. You should celebrate. I would celebrate any of those opportunities any and every time that I can.
I'm telling you, if I'm a coach, I want my guys celebrating. Like I want them to like the way the fucking this like, I don't know. Again, I know you're not a big football guy, but have you seen any of like Seattle's touchdown celebrations like that their wide receivers do?
If I remember correctly, I think they did. what was it? I think they did like I forgot what dance. Maybe it was the gritty or something. Like all of them were dark gritty. I'm not sure, but I think I've seen one or two at least.
So I want those. Like I want my fucking guys to
Full
spend
team
time
celebration.
like just choreo. Like I would if I was like an NFL head coach, I would, or fuck it, if I was like a college wrestling coach or MLB coach, basketball coach, hockey coach, whatever, I would spend like every day 5 minutes of practice, or at least once a week, 5 minutes of practice dedicated to coming up with celebrations for after we score. Because
Yeah.
you know what that tells me? That tells me that we knew we were going to be here. Like if you're just like one of those guys that catches a touchdown, hands it back to the ref, and you're just like, oh yeah, I scored a touchdown. Like you didn't expect to score. You were like, oh, it'd be great if I did, but I don't plan on it. If you got that fucking choreographed 5 minute, 20-minute routine down pack and you hit it like right off the bat, that tells me like you knew you were gonna get in the end zone. You knew you were gonna score a goal, or you knew you were gonna hit the three. Like that's what I want. I want those. I want to see it. I want to be like 5 minutes every practice. Just go, choreographed celebration time. Go take it.
Yeah, I feel it's definitely like I feel like it builds team chemistry and it kind of builds that relationship to like with the fans too. Because obviously, at least for me as a fan, I want to see like I understand like some people. Oh, I like when the players show emotion. I like when the coaches and the staff show emotion, shows that they care. But it should also mean that they care about winning first and foremost, because that's really the main point of it. They care about winning, so why shouldn't they be excited about when things are actually going well?
Exactly. And it's always like the fucking guys, like you can always tell like who's going to be one of the, oh, you shouldn't celebrate. It's always like those fucking losers that were like on fucking JV when they were a senior, right? And like they couldn't fucking sniff the field, and they were the ones that were like getting fucking cooked on like for 40 yards, like, oh man, I couldn't stop him. I don't like you keep celebrating and it hurt my, like it's always those fucking bastards that are the ones that have a problem with it. I've never talked to like anybody who's like a really good athlete that was like, yeah, you shouldn't celebrate.
A lot of these
The
guys who haven't
only
played an inning or anything like touch
the
nothing.
only level that I've ever come across it where I'm like, okay, celebrating's maybe a little bit kind of like a little bit kind of bush league is like high school wrestling. Like when I was in high school, we had this. Our coaches always said, you win and lose the same. Basically, like if you win, you just shake the guy's hand, walk off the mat. If you lose, same thing. Shake the guy's hand, walk off the mat. Don't be throwing temper tantrums and shit like that. But the only reason why we did that is because in the high school wrestling level, like unless you're the fucking state champ, like there's always going to be somebody like that's better than you. Basically, it's like kind of the thought about it. But when you get to like the fucking national championship level and like the NCAA, you get to the NFL and shit like that. Like no, you're. I think at that point you've earned the right. Like you've earned the right to celebrate. Like if you're like Joe Schmo in high school, like okay, maybe cool it with the celebration. Like it's not like that big of a deal. But once you get to the end, like once you get to those high levels, at that point I'll be like, yeah, just do fucking ball out, celebrate, do what you got to do.
Yeah, I would say like when you hit the pro level, you're one of the like for better or worse, you are should be labeled as one of the best players on in the country or on the planet. I feel
Yeah.
like especially for like the NBA, it's very limited when in terms of roster spots. MLB and like NFL is a little bit different, but I feel either way, you are at the highest level of that respective sport, and I feel like again, you should be rewarding yourself every good opportunity that it comes with.
And I mean, I would say even the NCAA level, like if you get to,
Yeah,
I mean, maybe like D1, D3, it's kind of like, hey, bro, you're not that great. But like if you get D1, and especially if you're like a power, like, one of the like power 500 schools, like fucking, you're like Penn State, USC, LSU. I mean, I'm kind of going like football wise, but like basketball, if you're like, Georgetown, Gonzaga, like one of those fucking schools, like who am I to be like, oh, you can't celebrate? Like, no, you're like you would literally dunk on me. Like it's you're like who am I on my couch to tell you, oh, you can't celebrate?
yeah. I mean, what about one of them unranked teams that goes and beats one of them powerhouses in an upset?
Even like if you're upsetting a fucking powerhouse school, like what is this the school? I'll give the example. Florida Gulf Coast from like 2011 when they had that run into the Sweet 16. Was it the Sweet 16? Yeah, I think it was the Sweet 16 that they made in the NCAA tournament. Those guys, 1,000%. You're not even supposed to be there. Yeah, you're allowed to celebrate. Like
you celebrate
nobody
like
had.
you just won the fucking
I was the
championship.
only one. I was the only one that picked Florida Gulf Coast to win in the first round. Like because we did a bracket, and Trey's my proof. He's my backup. We did a bracket with our wrestling team, and I was the only one that had 4. I actually had them winning like 3 games. They only won like 2, I think. So I was close, but
I mean, 2 is better than a lot of what other people were thinking. At least the way I'm hearing it.
yeah. So like again, if you're like an underdog and you're winning like that, but the only thing is like if you're gonna celebrate, if you're the underdog and you're celebrating, you can't lose. Like don't start poking the bear. And now the bear wakes up like that. You can't have. So you got to
And
be
you get
careful.
your ass whooped.
I don't know, Jiarmani, do you have anything? Like any topics you wanted to go over? Or?
Uh, I feel like it's a little too early to be talking about like MLB stuff or anything like that. Like I'm still waiting for like MLB the Show news and but I don't know if you're big like I know you said you were on the wrestling team, but what about like professional wrestling? You like involved in that a little bit, anything like that at all?
I haven't watched. So here's the thing with like me and wrestling, and that again, this kind of goes back to when we talked about video games. So my mom wouldn't let us watch professional. Me and my older brother would not let us watch professional wrestling, because like, she was like, "Oh, it's too mature. Like you're not old enough." That kind of thing. So like I didn't really get to watch it, but the funny thing is she let us play the wrestling video games. Like I had like like I had SmackDown versus Raw and like that kind of shit. So like that was like my experience, but like I haven't really paid attention to like wrestling like since I don't know, I was in like middle school the last time.
Oh, okay.
So like that's like I don't really pay attention to it like
Yeah.
now like but like when I did I was like, oh, the Rock, Stone Cold, like those were my guys. Like, oh, I'm fucking with them.
Yeah. It's always a weird time of this. At least for me, it's a weird time of year. In a wrestling sense, it's exciting for me because I know the Royal Rumble's in a couple of days, so I'm excited for that. But just like in terms of like sports for me, like yeah, I got the Celtics, and I feel like I remember when I first came here, I was talking a lot about the Celtics and stuff like that. To me, I know the Celtics have been really, really good, but the thing is, it's just like I haven't been giving myself enough time to be able to actually go and like just watch the games. I usually like last season I was watching the games every chance I got, like for better or worse, because like losing to the teams like fucking Knicks and shit. But now it's that like the team is so much better. But the point I was trying to make, damn, I was losing it. But yeah, like with the Celtics, like I got them, and then like I know baseball's coming back up in a few months. But yeah, the thing is with me with the Celtics, like they've been playing so good. But the thing is I'm not worried about how good they've been playing this season. The biggest thing that I'm worried about is how they go about facing adversity, because they played Golden State a few nights ago and they almost lost that game, and they've lost to like a bunch of teams like the Magic and stuff like that. I'm worried about how they are throughout the majority of the season, because I feel through like just like last year they were 22-22 through their first 44 games, right? And then the second half of the season comes and they're the best team in the league. Like I'm worried about like are they gonna like have a fall off or something like that? Like if they make it to the playoffs and they're still like a top 3 seed, like I feel like the Celtics have like the best chance right now to win the championship if they make it back to if they can make it back to the finals for the most part, because the expectations are now on them to be a really good team.
See, I'm gonna heavily disagree with you with that, just because again, like I mean, I got right now my Sixers are in second place, right? And then not only are they in second place, but I feel like Doc finally figured out like how his puzzle pieces fit together. I mean, obviously, like everything kind of hinges on like Harden and Embiid staying healthy. Just because like these last couple of games, Maxey has been like a terror coming off the bench.
Yeah.
And I think that's like the perfect role for him right now.
Yeah, be the 6th man.
And I think like we kind of got fucked last year in the playoffs with like our bench production. Like we weren't getting like anything off of our bench.
Yeah.
And having Maxey as like the spark plug off the bench is like something that's like definitely been needed. But again, like that all goes down the drain. Like if Harden gets injured, like you got to have Maxey starting. Obviously like Embiid keeps getting like it sucks because like even with the injuries that Embiid's had like in the postseason, he's still been pretty dominant. Like for the most part, like there's been a couple games where like he kind of like shrunk in the playoffs. But again, it was like last year, it's like, oh, he had the thumb injury. Then I think he like hurt his ankle or he had the ankle injury, he hurt his thumb. He had like, or he got the eye injury. Like he had everything going on. It's like, fuck, if this guy could just stay healthy, like we had a serious chance to win.
At least,
I mean, we're getting like meaningful minutes from Harden this year.
Yeah.
So like if he keeps that up in the playoffs, like I feel like we have a better chance than we've ever had.
I would say the thing for me is that seeing the 76ers the last couple of years is that I feel like they've always found their way to be a really good regular season team, but it's like you said, the postseasons where I feel like that, like their identity is really challenged, like of how good of a team they really are. And for me, the last couple of years, just to see like, yeah, it might be just being unlucky and stuff like that at times. And like last year, you had Embiid's injuries. The year before that, you had Ben Simmons being fucking scared shitless of Trae Young trying to stop him at the rim. But
which he still sucks this year too, by the way. Like, honestly, like I'm usually not the guy, like unless you play for like the Cowboys or something like that. Like I've never like actively be like, I really hope this guy is fucking terrible. But like Ben Simmons for me has become that guy, like where I'm just like, I am so happy he is not having success. Like I'm just like, if I could liquidate or liquidize or whatever, I don't even know if those are words.
I think it's liquidate.
If I could liquidate just Ben Simmons' failures and just fucking shower in it, I would.
Oh wait, so it's like liquefy. It's liquefy.
Yeah, liquefy. That's what I was trying to say. Yeah.
Okay, I was like liquidate. But yeah, but I mean, shit, the damn Nets are still pretty good with him playing how he's playing. I mean, it's more because Kevin Durant and Kyrie kind of like got their shit together for the most part.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like the Eastern Conference is usually, at least the last couple of years, has always been in like a bloodbath, kind of like making it kind of hard to see who's coming out of the East. But I feel that I still feel that my Celtics are gonna I feel like my Celtics are gonna make it to the conference finals, barring any unforeseen circumstances. But it's again like how they go about against that adversity. With the 76ers, I feel like it's a matter of like Embiid being healthy, but it's also because again, like to win a championship, you got to be a little bit lucky too. But with the Sixers, I feel like it's like the Celtics when they were trying to get over the hump to make it to the NBA finals. The Sixers are trying to get over the hump to make it back to the conference finals. So I feel if they can make it, if they make it back there, then all bets are off. And then like you've hit new ground. So it's something to progress upon, because how many more years of like being first or second round exits are there going to be when like there's time to like, all right, we got to go in a different direction or something like that,
Yeah. And that's fair because like Embiid's not getting younger, right? Like, and I mentioned like his injuries, like his injury, like the injuries are only going to get worse as he gets older. So like that's definitely tracks. Like, but like I said, like and again, it's roll the dice. Like you said, there's an element to luck in it. If everything goes our way, I feel like it's the Sixers' opportunity to lose as long as they don't get injured.
And my thing is, it's kind of like with the Celtics in Game 7 of last year when Jimmy Butler almost sent us home, because if you hit that 3 in transition, the Heat would have been up. Like if the Celtics would have lost that series and then not have made it to the finals last year, I wonder if I would have saw Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown playing on the same team right now. So like I feel like it can always come down to like just that one game, like that could change the course of a franchise. I wonder if that game is incoming for the Sixers, for better or worse, because the Celtics go on to win, they make it to the finals, and now they start like, all right, this core can work. Now they're building offense instead of trading somebody like Jaylen Brown in like a reactionary move for like Kevin Durant, like how all of them are going around in the offseason.
Yeah.
So we got to wait and see. A lot of crazy stuff going to be going on. You got the NFL games coming up. You got baseball coming up, and then like basketball's already in full swing with like the All-Star voting and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But man, it feels like the hour flew by. So we're at the 59 minutes. So I this was fun. This was absolutely.
I got one more thing for you, because it's kind of they can tie into we can do baseball or not baseball, but because I don't know shit about baseball. We can do basketball and like a quick football thing. All right. So you got just out of curiosity, like MVP voting for the NBA. Why is there never any love for my man Joel Embiid? Why can't he get I feel like he like if there was any other player in the league right now that had the string of 40-point games that Embiid just is coming up, I don't actually think the string has even been broken yet. Yeah. But if any other player was scored 40 points like Embiid did like this past month, like it would be oh, that's the MVP hands down. Like they would at least be the front runners during that series of games. What's
Yeah.
going on? Why not my man Embiid? Why can't he get it?
Are you talking about this year? Or are you talking about just like over the last couple of seasons? Because like I feel
Well,
like his
I mean, more specifically this year, like but like you could even say that, like you can make the argument for all this, like last year too, and things like that. But
yeah,
like
because
I'm saying, my man, at least this year he deserves it,
you gotta show
playing
some.
the way he's playing.
It's crazy how it is this year because last year was more like more like a two-person race. It was between Embiid and Jokic, and I feel Embiid his best case to win MVP was probably last year, and I think it's more when it comes to like the NBA loves like when it comes to the MVP they love a story because you kind of like the same thing with Luka Doncic. He's been one of the top players the last ever since he's been in the league but I don't think he's ever really finished as like a run-up. I think he's been an MVP. I don't think he's even been an MVP finalist like that, even though he's been playing out of his mind. Like this year, he probably will be an MVP finalist, but like I feel that like Embiid's best chance to win MVP, like for a storyline perspective, was last year because that was like the year it felt like he flipped a switch and he led the league in scoring and like he was putting the Sixers on his back and like Ben Simmons wasn't playing at all, anything like that. But then this year you have Jason Tatum who's having a career year. You have Luka who's like kind of saying he's due for an MVP, and then Jokic, even though I don't believe he's probably going to win it for a third year in a row, and then you got Giannis. Like Embiid, he's been playing great, absolutely. Like I'm not taking anything away from him in that aspect, but it's like I feel like from just thinking of like how the NBA has gone about like their MVPs, they always look at what's the story there. I feel it's not. I feel if it was up to me, I feel it should be who's the best player and who's adding the most value to their team because most valuable player. But I feel just like from the NBA, they always love themselves a good story to kind of go with. Like you go Luka, oh he's dragging a Mavericks team,
It
kicking and
sells tickets.
screaming.
It sells tickets. Like, oh, we got the MVP candidate coming to town. He just rescued 4 dead dogs from the side of the road. Like, yeah, I feel
Yeah.
you.
So like that's the thing with like the Mavericks, the Celtics' stories that Jason Tatum, like they just made it to the finals and Jason Tatum is trying to will his team, trying to get his team back to the finals with Jaylen Brown is like one of the like probably the best duo in the NBA right now. And he's like having a career year himself. Giannis, I feel like Jokic, the story for him, he's trying to win his 3rd straight MVP. And I feel like it's just like it's a back and forth thing with like him and Embiid, who's the best center in the league. I feel he probably like if Embiid going into the second half like continues what he's on because I feel like it's a matter of consistency too. I feel that I think he probably will get some more love, but it's kind of hard for me to picture him winning MVP over like just what like the story element of like Luka and Jason Tatum.
Okay. And then like I said, I gotta go with just put this out there. You can comment on it if you want. But I gotta shout out Brandon Graham, Philadelphia Eagles, and again, Coach Nick Sirianni, our cornball guy got snubbed. Like I'm not saying Nick Sirianni should have gotten Coach of the Year. Because I think Doug Peterson, Brian Dabble, what they did with their teams just being god awful and bringing them into the playoffs, like I think that's a pretty spectacular thing that they did. One of those guys should get Coach of the Year. But the fact that Nick Sirianni wasn't fucking nominated, he's not a Coach of the Year finalist, I think is a travesty for the NFL. My man had the best record in the NFL. Like, how does that not put him as a finalist for the Coach of the Year? A year after they got bounced, they got the shit kicked out of him in the playoffs. They were like a 9-7 team. A lot of people were expecting him to go 9-8 this year, and he's not your coach. He's not even a finalist for that award. I feel like that's a travesty. And then I think this is the guy who definitely should have won the award, but he's not. Again, not even a finalist. Brandon Graham is not a comeback player of the year finalist, and he tore his Achilles last year. He's 34 years old, and he had a career high 11 sacks. He had the best year of his career after tearing his tearing his Achilles at 34 years old. Like, how is that not your comeback player? Like, automatically. Like, they nominated Geno Smith. The only thing Geno Smith came back from was the bench. Like, that's fucked up.
Yeah, I feel like when it comes to that kind of thing, like when it comes to like award voting, I always feel like it's kind of like the same thing with like all stars, like or in football's case, like Pro Bowl nominations and stuff or selections. I mean, that like there's always going to be like people who are snubbed, or it's just like, oh, like they blatantly just got that wrong. Like I feel every year it's going to be something like that. Like whether it's like, oh, this person should have won MVP, this person should have won comeback player of the year, this person should have won coach of the year. I feel it's like from a fan's perspective, I feel like it's like just absolutely just nonsensical. Like even like you said, even not being considered as a finalist, like I feel like that's just like very odd to me. Especially it's like I feel like a lot of people, like it's hard, especially even if you're a finalist, you feel like you're gonna get snubbed, because I feel like those kinds of accomplishments, like you're dragging a team that was like one of the worst teams in the league last year, and you turn them into like a powerhouse, or you turn them into a playoff team at least. Like I feel like that should get some sort of recognition, like that, like you'll be able to hang on to and say like, hey, like I've got this, like this is with me. Nobody can ever take that away. But I feel like we're always going to see snubs and like in that sort of thing, and I feel like that's just like the harsh reality for it. I know in the NBA, I feel like they need more like awards. Like in the NFL, I understand like they have an offensive player of the year. I feel like the NBA should have something like that.
Yeah, so they have offensive player of the year, defensive player of the year, and then they have MVP separate. So yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that would probably be like the award that I would want to see the most, that like the NBA could take away from a different sport, because I feel like there's a difference between an MVP and then the offensive player of the year. And I feel like there should be like a division between the two, because like my definition of MVP is literally like, if you take this player off the team, like how much value does that guy bring to like any like that given team?
Right.
Like with Joel Embiid, like if you take Joel Embiid off of the Sixers, like what are they? Like are they still a playoff team like after the fact? Are they still like looked at the same? You know, like it's like I feel like
they might be a playoff team, but I don't think that they're definitely not the 2 seed.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So like I feel like that's where like it should come with. It's not, oh, he's the best player in the league on a like what like LeBron. Like LeBron could easily be like, he's had a case for MVP like every single year. Like in 2018 when the Kyrie left and he was on Cleveland and he put up nearly a triple double. He was averaging like 28 and like 7 and 9 or something like that. And I don't even think he was a finalist for MVP that year. And James Harden won it. Like James Harden could have been offensive player of the year while LeBron James won MVP. Like it's like that kind of thing. It's like if you take LeBron James off that Cleveland team, Cleveland's not even like nowhere near the postseason.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna just leave it at that.
All right. Well, any last thoughts? Anything else you got before we wrap this up, Jiarmani?
No, I would just say hopefully we come up with a name sooner rather than later, so we're not just calling it the Daily Show. I feel like if this starts like popping off, we're gonna get sued.
Because of Comedy Central.
Yeah.
Is it Comedy Central, or is that like an SNL thing? I don't remember.
No, it's Comedy Central, I think. Just I had a good time with this. I thought an hour and 7 minutes kind of just flew by. I thought this was a great time. I think this is an awesome idea, and I'm looking forward just to see how this is going to keep progressing for sure.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I have fun too.
This is the first time we actually got a chance to like interact, like for the most part.
Yeah, me and you just one-on-one. Yeah,
just shooting the shit.
Yeah, basically that's all. That's really all we do is just talk for like an hour or so. I mean, I guess that'll do. We'll wrap that up. I guess go through all like the likes and follows and stuff. You see on the bottom of the screen there, Vendetta VSM on Twitter. We got an Instagram page. I don't know what the Instagram is, but search Vendetta Sports Media. It'll come up. Facebook, you can follow us on Facebook. Again, like us on Facebook or whatever you do on Facebook. It's Vendetta Sports Media. Jiarmani said his Twitter earlier. It's J Depena 21. Mine is at Lil Footed if you want to follow me. You can subscribe to our Twitch channel if you're watching this live. Only one person is apparently. If you're that one person, subscribe.
Thank you.
At least I think you could like people on Twitch. Like at least follow the channel. If you're on the YouTube channel, watching this when it comes out on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for the notifications, like the video and all that. Leave a comment. If you're in support of Brandon Graham being the comeback player of the year and getting snubbed, leave a comment. Otherwise, shut the fuck up. Other than that, thanks for watching. And I guess whoever does the show next, you'll see them because it's the Daily Show, so you'll see them tomorrow.